If Tennant is the next Doctor, what were your thoughts beyond that? See, I notice you're wording that very carefully because I've gone on record multiple places saying I have no opinion until it's confirmed. And so you're wording your question as, well, if it was confirmed, then what would your opinion be? Sneaky, nice try, not answering it. Look, it would be a bad idea. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's dig into this a little bit. The idea of bringing back David Tennant to play the Doctor again is a bad idea. It is a fundamentally bad idea. And before anyone shows up in the comments telling me, oh, well, the curator said he could revisit old faces. Like, I know that. It's not a question of they can't do it because of X, Y, Z. It's all made up. They can come up with a narrative justification for why they should do it. That doesn't make it a good idea. And the other thing I've seen people go like, oh, well, he's not going to be playing the 10th Doctor again. It's going to be David Tennant reinterpreting the Doctor, so it'll be a different Doctor, not just doing his old version. Like, yeah, sounds good. Still a bad idea. This kind of cyclical, recursive, masturbatory nonsense. I'm knocking stuff over. This is what I dread for Doctor Who. This is the exact reason why I don't want Russell T Davies to spend any time retconning the Timeless Child as much as I hate it, because stop looking back, move forward. And I don't care if he'd be playing a different version of the Doctor. Casting Tennant to play the Doctor again is a retrograde move. It is looking back instead of trying to progress. And whatever you feel about Chibnall's time, and I have not liked most of it, he did try and move things forward. Did it work? No, but it is healthier for this show and for its future to find a way to move forward than to start looking back and just jerking off its own friggin' continuity. It's fan service wankery. The whole idea be a terrible notion. And I've seen a million things like, oh, well, you'd only do one series. Oh, it would just be a couple of specials. And then it would be something. It's a bad idea. I don't care how you package it. I don't care what you wrap it in. Fundamentally, it is a bad idea, and it is unhealthy for the state of the franchise. Don't do it. And don't tell me any reasons why you think I should be more optimistic about the idea. I'm not. It is the kind of thing I dread Doctor Who doing. And I have for a long time. I'm very exasperated this stream. Hope people are getting entertainment out of that. Hope it's just a cameo on the 60th. Oh, I fully expect him to show up in the 60th. That I don't doubt and would not have a problem with. I'm fine with multi-Doctor stories. But, like, that's not what people are talking about. Feel free to decide if this is too potentially spoilery, but the David Tennant coming back as the 14th Doctor rumors flying right now. There's nothing to indicate we should be taking those seriously, is there? Honestly, as much as I love David Tennant, I hope they don't go there. No, there is absolutely nothing to indicate. There are people who are claiming, oh, the leak source has been right about other stuff without actually providing information as to who the leak source is, or, you know, it's a game of telephone. Like, it could be anything from he is going to appear in the 60th anniversary, and that has been twisted by, you know, it by being leaked in a slightly off form. It could be that. Or it could just have been pulled out of the ether from fans who saw that Russell T Davies was coming back, and they're like, ooh, maybe Tennant. And then they start talking about it as if it actually will, because the conversation can shift from, oh, well, maybe this would be maybe this would happen, to wouldn't it be cool if this happened, to I bet this will happen, to this is happening. Like it's a standard, like, self-creating rumor mill progression. Man, this really did become the topic of the Discord. Since Tennant being cast as the next Doctor is unlikely and a bad idea, thank you. What would you think of him reprising his role as 10 throughout a future season, i.e., not just for an anniversary special for some timey-wimey shenanigans alongside whichever new Doctor we get or any other previous Doctors. No, I do not think any Doctor, especially a fan favorite like Tennant, should be brought back on anything other than a one-off basis. Weaving him throughout a future season is just going to beg the comparison to whoever the current Doctor is and ignite all the more divides about why won't you just give us another series with Tennant if you're going to have more. The one exception I'll make is, I'm shocked this has not happened already. I would be okay if they wanted to bring in the meta-crisis Doctor that is living with Rose in the parallel dimension. Now, when I say bring in, I don't mean take over the role of the Doctor. I don't mean that at all. But I mean, given that he is human, that he has been earthbound, and that it is now, oh God, like 15 years later or whatever, seeing how he's changed, seeing how he's different. See, it's funny. The reason I say it's funny that this hasn't happened yet is I had kind of made the assumption that half the reason to even create that situation where there was a completely separate Doctor who it's established firmly would age would be able to bring David Tennant back at a later date and not worry about having to cover for the fact that he is visibly older. Which is an issue that wasn't so much of a problem in multi-Doctor stories back in the classic era because the definition was so low. But these days, it shows. You can tell. Honestly, you could kind of tell in The Day of the Doctor. He looked older. And again, that's not like he's aging quite well, but I always kind of assumed that was the point of creating the Meta-Crisis Doctor, to be able to do that. And they still haven't. So I'd be up for that. I don't want it to dominate like a season-long story, but if, I don't know, for a finale or a one-off or a special, if they wanted to touch on that, that's probably what I'd be most okay with in terms of the idea of bringing him back for anything other than like the 60th anniversary.